Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Talkin' NASCAR podcast, episode number 3. We're doing a kind of double episode this week because we're going to catch up. We're going to talk about the last 2 races. Back with Hitmaster. And we got another guest, first real guest, because Jackson's supposed to be a permanent member, but he is having issues right now. And then Brian's here. Hi, Brian.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody who watches my channel probably knows who Brian is. Known as Ken Pomeroy here in the Discord. And he's been a pretty prominent member in videos, especially do reviews, vlogs, all that kind of stuff. So, Brian, how you introduce yourself and introduce yourself, favorite driver, how long you've been watching NASCAR, how you got into NASCAR, all that kind of stuff.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian. You know me by now. So, I've been on the channel for like 3 years now. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt as Stroll and Trollin. These are my pajamas. Don't judge. Check out the episode. Yeah, go check that. I appeared on that podcast too. But I'm a Logano fan. I've been a Logano fan for about 7 years now. When I got into it, he was just in the lead on the first race I randomly decided to watch. And from that race, I was hooked, and I just picked him. So now we're here 7 years of watching, and I have so many things of his that, yeah, big fan. Got to see him win a title.
Cool.
I think that's everything.
Cool. I will make a quick disclaimer. I don't know why my camera's not working. I'm going no camera this episode, so I should make a little disclaimer with that. But yeah, we're catching up because I decided to wait until a week after the Pocono to upload that out podcast. We talked about Pocono. So this week we're finally going to catch up, and we should be on track to the rest of the season. So let's start with MIS, the Michigan International Speedway Firekeepers Casino 400. Hitmaster and Brian, and also Jackson, if he ever decides to jump in, we're there. So I'll let them take it away and introduce their experience. We'll start with Hitmaster, I guess, because he's own unique experience.
So we got there around maybe... Well, we were going to try to get there around 5, but anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the race that was really good. I mean, at first I thought they were going to cancel it because of all that downpour. And then some way they started it. But it was a fun race. I liked watching it. It was pretty interesting until the final laps came about. But other than that, I got a diecast.
Yeah, but show that off.
Well, of course, you guys know that I'm a big Elliott fan, so I had to get the man. I had to get the man, Chase Elliott.
Okay, so we got to do compared to the other 124s and now the next gen. How do you feel like the difference? Is it a good difference? Is there any difference? Bad?
Well, without a doubt, it ain't gonna beat this.
Well, that's a race win diecast. Of course, it's not gonna compare.
Yeah, but I mean, this doesn't look half bad. I like it.
How much did it cost at the race?
I believe it costs like $80.
Oh, for
yeah, I saw some race wins going for around 85. That sounds about right.
Wow, that's cheap for a race win. My God.
Yeah, it's all Ningers win, I think.
He wanted a Kyle Larson signed helmet. I don't know if you saw it. He wanted the signed helmet. And so I go, as long as you pay me back, I will get it for him. And he said he will. Hasn't paid me back yet. So
you better get paid back for that. Oh my God.
A $250 replica helmet signed by Kyle Larson.
Jesus Christ. I wouldn't do that. Unless the person could pay it for themselves, I wouldn't get it for them.
He said he would pay me back, but
you're a good friend, Hitmaster, because I don't know if he's going to pay you back $250. Oh, jeez.
He has until next month.
Well, you gave him a lot of time. He's going to wait that entire time. I'll tell you that.
Or,
Yeah.
oh, I'm taking that and I'm setting it on the back.
Yeah,
of my fucking
Oh yeah, it's yours
bed.
now. But what you should have done
Yeah.
is kept it in your possession until the guy could pay you back, and then give it to him after that. That's what you should have done.
Yeah.
Then you could have it on the podcast, and it would have been great content.
True.
All right, well,
Yeah.
so Jackson's not here at the moment, but Brian, you were with Jackson the whole day.
Yeah.
What was your guys' perspective on the day? What was your experience?
So we had some fancy schmancy passes. So we pull up at like 8 a.m. Or no, we left at 8 a.m. Pulled up at like 9 a.m. Did all the normal stuff on the midway. Did my own shopping. I bought a lot of things. I probably shouldn't have spent that much money. But normal stuff. We saw Kroger. That was fun.
The place
Got to do a claw machine. Got to play on iRacing sim thing. Got shot with hollers. All that fun stuff. So that was the normal experience. Then, like 11 o'clock, go to this big tent with there's like a bunch of seating, fans, open bar. Not for me.
Nope.
But
Sorry.
and then there were like snacked like Chex Mix and pretzels, stuff like that. You grab that, and they have like
Drink.
Drinks
Perfect for a
and
humid day.
for freaking ridiculous day that I probably had COVID. So, then Jackson stayed in there for a bit. Watched maybe Harvick and Truex were there. So was Josh Bilicki.
Josh Bilicki. Come on, they got to make the
Josh
MSU
Bilicki.
diecast. Come on, I'm still praying for
They
it.
have to. I was looking for that.
I've been looking on
It
the
hasn't
internet
happened
every
yet.
day.
I don't think it's going to happen now.
Still hold
but-
that hope.
So I went out to see Logano at the booth. That was fun. Then we went into the track. It was horrid. Worst pit experience I've ever had.
Oh, so you actually got
you
to go
could
in the
only
pits?
go. No, we couldn't actually go on the road. You can go only on the turn 1/2 behind the pit box,
Oh, that's the shitty
and then you
part.
could walk.
The shitty part's
and then you
the
can
good
walk
part's
out.
by turn 4.
Yeah, behind the boxes, and then you could walk out, obviously, to the victory lane area. You could walk to the start-finish line. That was it. That was all you were allowed to walk around.
Oh, jeez.
I saw
But they
that.
could-
I was near the start finish line on like the grandstands, and I saw that there was fans that were only able to do those kind of things.
Yeah. So, after I saw them walking through the red carpet to the driver's meeting, and then back out of the driver's meeting to go to the stage. I saw every driver mostly twice. Tried 3 times to get my hat signed. Did not get my hat signed.
Damn.
Then went back to the grandstands. I'm so mad about this, right? After we wait for the rain to clear and stuff, they pull everybody back out. They do the command. The speakers in my section, way out in turn 4, were not working. I missed the command.
What happened last year when I went. We missed the entire driver intro session because the speakers just did not work. We did not hear the session going on because it was so hot. We were sitting underneath the grandstands waiting for it to start. We didn't hear anything, so I missed Chase Elliott.
So we heard driver intros, and then right at the end of it started raining, and then they turned off the speakers, and they never came back on in our section until like lap 35. So I missed Tuck. I missed him come.
You missed Tuck and Izzo.
I missed
That
Tuck.
would have been so great to meet them.
But I saw Tuck when he was when all the drivers were walking by. I saw Tuck.
They
so
flew
that was
on
cool.
a whole ass helicopter. Him and Izzo.
He is so tall. It's ridiculous. Like Izzo's not that tall, and Tucker doesn't look that tall, but he's up there.
He's a big burly football man.
But yeah, really good seats. Way out in turn 4, towards the very end there, and then you can go back to the tent. I forgot to mention there was a full meal in there somewhere, like chicken and mac and cheese and stuff. So it was really good. And then we went back there for drinks and earplugs, and because Jackson dropped his or something. So
Sounds like Jackson.
They have earplugs at that tent. So, we also got like a bag. That's not interesting, and earplugs. And this was the gift that they gave us.
Poggers.
One of those, it's still in the box. I'm keeping this one in the box, displaying this at my dorm. I'll show you the other things I got. Got a couple pins. Had to. Tyler's gotten me into it.
Oh wait,
Basic,
no, that is
Logano.
different than last year's. It's got like the trees and the flames in it.
I sent you a picture, buddy.
Well, it looked the same in the pic. Oh well, they're not too big, no different. I wasn't even there.
All
That's
right,
why
so-
I'm not too mad about it.
Got 2 Loganos. I'm going to show you what they look like in the box. I mean, the basic schemes, but you just get the vibe of the box here.
Poggers.
Next Gen 2022 season. These are some nice boxes. Nice design here. I'll show you all 4 sides, or 6 sides. It's a cube. Not a cube. It's a rectangular prism. But yes, it has 6 sides.
Poggers.
So- Ken, are you a Joey Logano fan?
Yes, I am.
Hmm.
So I got 2 other ones. I collect Loganos, obviously. I had to get the new next gen ones, but try to get every number at least. I haven't gotten a 45 or a 5 yet, so those are the 2 I got. I'll show you these out of the box here.
So that's
They
the
look
next
nice.
gen 164s.
They roll nice. I can't really show. They roll really nice.
Oh, cool.
I can't really show you how they roll. Obviously, I can try one. It's just flawless.
I can hear it being flawless.
Here's the bottom though. It's kind of lame.
Oh, I can see why you think it's kind of shitty.
Compare it
just
to.
nice and
I don't
flat.
have any 2021 diecast down here, but I think that's how they look. It's not like they're skimping any at all. It's just that's how they look now. Here's the Larson diecast.
They probably also
I
didn't
think
pay
I
much
like-
attention to it 'cause it's on the bottom.
Difference between
Oh,
those
there's
2
a-
cars.
Yeah,
But-
it could
so-
very well be the build of the car. I don't know what the undersides of the
say-
next gen cars look like, but
I think that's what it looks like. They're not skimping at all. But this is one of the schemes I will say it looked a lot better with the last year's number placement. This white bulge here is much bigger and it looks a little weird this way. Overall, I'm fine with the number placement because at least these most cars make it work. This one's a little weird.
how do you
My dad-
how do you feel between Jen's previous year's diecasts versus the next gen diecast? 'Cause I heard
So, sorry, I cut you off there.
no, go ahead.
But I think I like these a little bit better. I wish I had brought one down from last year or the year before.
I have
don't know.
one that's from last year.
I don't have any down here. But I don't know.
There's one
These
right
feel
here.
a little shinier. Might just because these are brand new. They look shinier. They feel smoother. I don't know. It doesn't feel that much nicer, but they nailed it. These are really nice.
'Cause I'd heard, I think this was more of a complaint with the 124s and the 164s that the design was kind of cheaped out on some of them, but from what you guys look, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
And the 2 I have here out of the box are some of the nicest. Even the Shell Penzlet, which I've seen, so long. I think this looks really nice.
So, talk about the overall race experience. So, as far as things to do, not like Brian's case, the VIP stuff, but just general things for fans to do, like booths or even the variety in the shopping haulers, all that kind of stuff. Do you think it was better this year than last year or years prior, or was it worse or
Now,
on par?
I did go see William Byron. He was at the Chevy booth. I saw a little bit of Michael McDowell. And then I saw a little bit of Eric Jones. That was about it. Mostly because I think we didn't get there early. If we would have gotten there early, we probably would have seen more. It was okay. It wasn't bad.
So I think it was. Sorry, you're.
No, it's
go ahead.
Go ahead.
So it was better than last year, but every year it feels like it's kind of gone down. But I think this year it's gone up a little bit.
Because remember last year, they had like 10 shopping haulers. They had booths for Ford and Chevy. There wasn't even a Toyota booth, I remember.
No, I don't think so.
There's never been a Toyota booth.
They had an
has there?
Ally.
I think-
There was a booth for Ally, like just for
Yeah.
them in general. And then
Yeah.
they had the driver meetups. Remember, Kevin Harvick was there. Logano did one. I saw Alex Bowman. I saw all these other guys that were there. But other than that, I don't remember there being a whole lot to do.
I mean, there were a few things to do. I mean, obviously the main attractions would be Ford and Chevy, and they brought their all. They were decked out. I think the main thing to do is the eNASCAR booth, which
I was there
they had
last
some
year.
Rocket League set up. Last year they had Mario Kart, which there was no Mario Kart. Disappointed.
Rip.
But Jackson waited in
Downgrade.
line for like an hour to play at an iRacing sim, and he totally messed it up.
Congratulations, Jackson.
But the Ally booth, which was insane. They had like an arcade racer game you could just sit and play. They had a claw machine, like a real claw machine with
What?
purple balls. And if you got a purple ball, you got like a water bottle or something dumb. But if you got the gold ball, you got a really nice Ally hat. And then Bowen would come by and sign it sometime, I think.
Nice.
So I didn't win. I wanted that hat.
That would have been a nice hat. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
would have
like,
given it to somebody. And I
did they have anything unique in the Kroger booth? Was there anything like that
I-
other than that as well?
They were just giving out like bottles of water and fruit, I think.
That's
like they were
classic
giving out-
Kroger giving out fruit.
Yeah.
Why would you
It
go out
was
fruit at
Kroger
an
Health.
NASCAR
They,
race?
they at least had Stenhouse's car out. Like you could
Yeah, they
go
do
up
have
to.
his car out.
Okay, that's at least
Yeah.
something.
But, I mean, that's cool. They
Mhm.
sent Stenhouse's car out. Oh, that reminds me. At Ally, you could also they had like a smoke shooting up thing, and you could walk out and be like driver intros, and the
Oh, nice.
underpaid woman there in ankle.
Underpaid
No, she had a boot on.
She had a boot on? Oh, come on. We get somebody who doesn't have a
Would
boot on.
introduce
Come on, I was like,
you, like
it was so hot.
Like driver of the
there
number
here.
48
Come on, man.
Camara with 4 wins in 2021 and 1 in 2022.
My God.
Welcome to Michigan International Speedway, Joe.
So
That was pretty funny.
that is hilarious. Oh my God.
So there were a few other stations. There was a lot for kids. Which I didn't
as
explore.
they usually do, because trying to get kids
Yeah.
involved. But
Yeah. There's a Cheez-It Puff. They're like Cheez-It Puffs, which is the only like food there besides. I don't know. Tropical smoothie was there somehow.
why?
It wasn't.
You know
Yeah.
what's weird, though? I tried playing Rocket League in the Ford booth, but not even like maybe 5 minutes I start playing it. All of a sudden, this guy comes over and says, "You're gonna have to get off here. Someone else is wanting to get on." And you see these kids behind us, and we're like, "We just got on."
Yeah.
We
And
gotta
I'm like,
cater
well,
to the kids.
No wonder I hate Ford.
Yeah.
So that's
What was
I think
how were the haulers this year? Because remember last year they were
They
pretty
were
shitty.
again. They were a little bit better than last year. In terms of
They had one
diecasts, there weren't a ton, but
They had
Did-
one for Stuart Haas. They had one for the whole entire Hendrick team except for Chase Elliott because Chase Elliott had his own hauler.
Okay. Did Kyle Busch still have his own hauler? We'll talk about Kyle Busch
Yeah,
a little bit
he
later in
did.
the podcast because things have been going on with him, but
He
he's still got
did,
his own
and
hauler,
then-
which is very, very ironic seeing everything that's going on right now. I bet his stuff's
I
going to be on
don't
the
remember.
bargain
I
bin
think
soon.
all of. I'm really bad at this. I believe all of 2311 and the rest of Gibbs were their own hauler. All Penske
Yeah.
was a hauler.
Okay.
They put RCR and GMS and Spire together.
Okay, at least
So they put
RCR
Trackhouse, Spire, and Colleague together, and then RCRG. No, that's not right. I don't know. And then RFK was RFK even there? I don't know what they were with.
RFK was not even.
So second year in a row, Roush
think that
didn't
they
get a
have-
hauler.
no,
That's
you're
so
not.
funny.
No, I think I saw RFK with Penske because I think
They were
Brad
Penske?
was still
That's
with
funny.
Penske. Oh, no,
Oh, I thought he was with like SHR because there was a sign outside of one of them that was like, "Get your your RF Mercs here. They didn't have their own hall, but they were with somebody else.
Yeah, I just
I don't entirely remember, but all Penske, all Stewart Haas, 2 for Gibbs, 2 for Hendrick. There were 2 other Chevy ones, and then RFK was somewhere.
Okay, because I remember last year Austin didn't even get a hauler, so hopefully they at least got one this year. All the new rebrands and stuff. Well, that's good. I'm just trying to get a little vision of what might see down at Bristol about a month from now.
Or you might see a lot of different things.
I hope pretty much what I'm going to see is what you guys probably saw, as well as probably a little bit more because it's Bristol, not MIS.
Bristol, baby.
So now let's get into the actual race because I did actually watch all of this, and a lot of people are saying this is the best Michigan race in a really long time, and I'm kind of salty that I didn't go, but I have to agree with them in the fact of that. Because
it was one of the best races, in my opinion. All the races that I've been to, when they had the thing on the back, the fender, whatever the fuck it was called, and then when they had these normal cars, it was just beautiful. I loved the racing. They were side by side for leads at one point of the race. There was a 3-way battle, which I didn't expect at Michigan. You usually don't see that. Bubba Wallace did a pretty goddamn good job, even though he almost got booed out of the place.
Did he? Oh my god.
So what happened was, of course, everyone knows that Bubba Wallace started on the pole. They were saying all the driver intros, and then all of a sudden you hear Kyle Busch. When they say Kyle Busch, you just hear boom everywhere you see.
Well, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
It's Kyle Busch.
Yeah. As is usual.
And then, so they say it's second place driver, which I think was Chris
Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone starts cheering, and then all of a sudden you hear Bubba Wallace. Half of the place, you hear boos. On the other half, you hear cheers. So some people are 50-50 on it.
See, the thing is, I think all the people that boo are just racists that don't want to see African-American people in NASCAR succeed.
Basically, my dad, yes.
I mean, had he done anything this year? Has he done anything to,
He won one race in the NASCAR Cup Series, but that was from rain. And he's had pretty good finishes.
He's done. He's
No,
picking up
more-
the pace this year, but he needs to win to get into the
I
playoffs.
mean, he's doing well, especially because, he finished second place. It was more like, did he do anything to make any driver mad?
No.
Chastain's done something,
No, we'll talk. We can talk about Ross Chastain. We'll get to Ross Chastain, and we'll get to Cody. We'll get to what JJ Haley a little bit later as well.
JJ Haley, that was the moment.
Because Rick Ware is back in the news this time as well. So, but no, I can't boo Bubba Wallace. I do think he's pretty overrated. Still, but he's at least starting to show that he deserves to be in the Cup Series. He's doing pretty good now recently. I hated to see him beat himself up for finishing second, but
yeah, he was kind of upset.
He did get that big contract extension out of it though. So
I don't know. He's been quietly getting better and better. Like there's no question that whether or not he belongs with that team or not anymore.
The problem
he's
is
definitely.
The problem is just the results are not going to show for it because of the fact so many people have won this season, and that he's not going to be able to make the playoffs unless he wins. And I just don't think he has.
Yeah.
I mean, Daytona, maybe he'll win, but he's definitely not going to win at Watkins Glen. There's just no way. Even if he
that's going to be
it
a
won't
Kimmy,
matter.
Right?
We already know
Kimmy's going to win. Yeah. Kimmy's going to win.
Oh my god.
Tyler Reddick's going to win at Watkins Glen. We already know this.
Nah, it's gonna be
One
like
Kimmy.
One of the previous 2 road courses.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll get to that later in the podcast. We got to talk about playoffs as well because, But other than Bubba Wallace, I think one of the big outcries from this race was everybody's been talking about Ross Chastain and his recklessness this year. Everybody forgets before Ross Chastain there was Rick Ware Racing. Well, they put themselves back in the news this week by starting a very rare Michigan Big One, collecting about 9 cars early in the race. Austin Cindric takes a huge hit, and because it was J.J. Yaley, who somehow restarted in 9th.
And still is racing to this day.
I can't believe that.
I think it was
forever. Crazy.
I think it was a tire strategy type thing where they were like, I think it was a stage caution, and then off the restart there was the Kyle Busch caution, and some people came back, but he stayed out, and that's how he's up there.
I think that was off the comp yellow. I think that was off the competition caution.
Yeah. But he just restarted in the middle of a pack and could not get up to speed, and then ran out of talent.
Well, and on one hand, I do feel bad for Kyle Busch, but on the other hand, I don't feel bad for Kyle Busch. Oh, let's welcome Jackson to the podcast. Jackson, what's up?
All of a sudden, you hear in the background, I don't.
No, he said hi, but
I don't feel bad for him.
He said hi.
I'm going to go on a mini rant here. People are talking about, wow, I can't believe Kyle Busch might be out of the sport next year. I'm surprised he hasn't been out of this sport for ever since maybe 2016, and maybe even 2011. Frankly, the things he does, I think, hurt the sport. I don't think they make them better, because unlike Tony Stewart and unlike Dale Earnhardt, he doesn't have a sort of swagger. He doesn't have a sort of badassness. He's just a whiny bitch, frankly, and I'm tired of people praising him as the greatest talent since God. And sure, he's talented, but he's a douchebag. And I don't know. I think he needs a Kurt Busch 2012 season so that he can grow up. All right, I'm done.
What a way to come onto the podcast. All right, Jackson, first off, if you can turn your camera on, please do. Otherwise, you're fine.
I can't wait to see God behind the wheel of a race car.
That was a epic way to just jump right in, almost half an hour into the podcast. All right, going on a rant about Kyle Busch. Here we go.
Post that as a short, Tyler. I think that'd be awesome.
But anyway, Jackson, we'll divert course back since Jackson joined. We already did a little sessions talking about you guys' experience at the race, MIS race. Let's hear your side of the story. Talk about it.
Oh man, so we went there and we got in a pretty nice event, and that was cool. We saw the opening ceremonies, except for the invocation and stuff like that, because it started raining, and man, it rained freaking hard. So it was raining hard, and they told us take cover. There's lightning. I didn't hear thunder or lightning at all, though that was probably because they had the jet dryers and the air Titans out.
You can't hear lightning, so.
No.
You know what? Well, I didn't
hear
see
lightning. It's thunder.
Well,
I didn't
thunder
see
is
lightning.
hearing lightning.
Okay, fine.
So I was up. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah. Well, we waited for about maybe like an hour, and it might have been more than that. And I just remember just kind of it was super crowded, and it was packed there. I mean, it was the most people there since 2016, which is good. That's good. We want more fans in racing in general. But I was pleasantly surprised by the racing. I think the moment that I was just the most memorable moment was when Bell essentially wrecked himself and Chastain. Yeah. I feel like Bell just cleared himself. Chastain didn't wreck him this time.
No.
But I was just like, oh my gosh. I was rooting for Suarez near the end, and then that caution came out, and then his pit crew screwed up and did a Bubba Wallace thing. But yeah, speaking of, Bubba, I think, had the fastest car, pretty much
Oh,
all
yeah.
race.
When he
Though
was in
Harvick
clean
snookered
air.
everyone.
When he got in traffic,
Yeah.
he was kind of crappy, and then he came back at the end, and
Honestly,
Harvick took off at that last 30
Yeah.
laps, and
I gotta
he
say
won-
though,
he earned that
the
win.
driver that impressed me the most was Noah Gragson.
he did pretty good
was
until he
in-
wrecked, and then he crab
He
walked.
was in. Yeah, that was pretty cool, the crab walk. But he was in the top 10 all day until he wrecked, which I felt horrible for. But I think that does deserve. I think that proves that he deserves to be in the Cup Series full time next year. But and I feel like Petty GMS and Colleague are kind of equal, though I feel like Colleague's going to get better. I don't know if Petty GMS is going to get better. Maybe the 43, but the 42 car this year has been mid-pack at best, whereas the 43 has been front of the top 5 at best. So I feel like they're not going to be even. But yeah, it was a solid race, and definitely better than 2014, which was one of those Jimmy Johnson snooze fests. That was the last Michigan race I went to. So yeah, it was a good race.
Yep, we were just talking about before you came in the rare Michigan big one triggered by a Rick Ware car.
It was JJ Yaley, and it was a freaking unsponsored Rick Ware racing car. And I remember there was one moment where we saw Kyle Busch riding to the infield care center on a golf cart, and the crowd pretty much flipped him off and yelled and cheered and heckled, and I was part of it. I'm not going to deny that.
Of course you were.
I called him a cunt. I
Of
think.
course you did. Why?
And,
Why would you do that?
That's my opinion of him. And that
Well,
was
okay.
that was the one word that I know is kind of a taboo that I think I could get away with saying. Like that's a word that you hear people go like, you can't say that. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna call him that.
You should just say you're Australian. You'll be fine.
That's bloke. You bloke.
That's British.
No, that's Australian too. Righto.
Oh, well.
Fuck you, mate.
You die, mate.
Now listen here, you bloke. You canted bloke.
So
All
yeah,
right,
then
pods. Let's move on.
I'm
Let's
going
move on.
to rip on the body.
so the biggest
Bavy.
storyline for Michigan was not Bubba Wallace. It was not
It was
Kevin Harvick. It was Kevin
Yeah, it
Harvick
was.
winning after 65 races. Absolutely crushes the final 30 laps and gets the win. Snaps the race
he was
winless
very
streak.
good.
Secures his spot in the playoffs, and
Yeah, and he was outside
Creates-
looking in. I feel like people forgot about that.
kind of creates some big bubble controversy here. And I think Harvick's
Yeah.
win kind of exposes the playoff system because the fourth place guy in the regular season standings is now over 20 points outside of the cut line, and the guy who's second in the,
Ryan Blaney.
points is barely hanging on to that last spot.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys expect Harvick to win? I need to know that right now.
Well, you know, I have to mention this because this was mentioned in the meet and greet that I was at with Harvick, and the interviewer made a point that Harvick won in 2019 and in 2016.
That was
So
Logano won in 2013, 2016, and 2019, and the pattern didn't continue. But
there were 2 races.
Harvick won the doubleheader in 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And he won.
I felt like there was
Yeah.
there
won
was
in
some
2018,
kind
I
of
think.
like pattern. There was
Yeah.
some kind of pattern. I don't know.
He won.
But-
I think he won in
but he
2018.
made-
He won in 2020. He won in 2022. Yeah, that was the
Oh,
pattern.
that's what it was. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the pattern, and so yeah, that works in weird ways, but I was a little surprised, but
A little
considering
surprised.
that
He'd been
not
crap
many
all season.
I am honestly, with the way that a certain car performed today, I don't know what the heck's gonna happen.
And we'll get to Richmond a little bit later in the podcast. We'll stick with Michigan for it now.
I'm just saying, Blaney could win, Truex could win, Eric Jones could win, Bubba Wallace could win, and Chris Buescher could win. I have no freaking clue.
So if Blaney and Truex both win, or like if we get 17 winners, who's the first one to be kicked out?
I would hope. Here's
point.
So I think who it would probably be would be the lowest guy. I hope it would be Kurt Busch, but they might, depending on if the regular season standings are still the same. People are saying Kurt Busch is not the lowest guy out of the winners in the regular point standings right now.
No, he is. He is right now. He's missed.
It's not.
It's not.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Let's look it up. Phil.
But I think I don't know if they might also just not keep, if like say Eric Jones wins at Watkins Glen next week and gets in, and then maybe Ryan Blaney wins at Daytona or something. They might. They might
Kurt
keep
Busch. No. Excuse me. It is Alex Bowman.
It's Bowman.
Yeah.
Bowman's the lowest winner.
Hold on.
Hopefully they don't do a 2013
Let me check the owner
expand
points.
it by a field, by a car, just to keep everybody
Yeah,
in, depending how popular the driver that gets in
Yeah,
is.
dude, it's freaking Bowman.
I hated that Kevin Harvick won.
Or is it? It's either the 48 or the 14.
It could. I think it's very. Chase Briscoe's been pretty crap this season, so.
Yeah, after Phoenix, he just became crap. I don't know. I feel like there are four or five, maybe 6 guys that could win a race left. And that's not counting Corey LaJoie, because after Atlanta, I think he could steal it at Daytona.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, let's get back. We'll talk about the playoff format a little bit more. Who we think is going to get in. We'll talk about that a little bit after we talk about Richmond. So, last thoughts on the Michigan race. Is Michigan back? Does Michigan deserve a second date again? Is it going to be good? Or
I don't want to see any tracks with 2 dates. I don't
really?
care. Yeah. I think NASCAR needs to go to every place once. I'm sorry, you don't see Formula One going to another track twice, and I think NASCAR's. You used to not see IndyCar go to multiple places twice, but now they go to Indy 3 times, which I think is stupid.
So, I think for the purposes of they want a good looking crowd, and when you have one race at a place like Michigan, you get strong crowds. That's what happened at New Hampshire. That's what happened at Pocono. That's what happens at all these tracks that have 2 dates and have gotten down to 1.
Well,
it sucks for those fans, but at least they still have 1 date, and everybody goes to it.
New Hampshire was not good, but Pocono was good.
I understand that, and that's why Daytona and Talladega still have 2 dates. That's why
Bristol still has 2 dates as well.
I mean,
but Bristol,
there are some tracks that have 2 dates that do not need 2 dates.
Richmond.
Richmond's not that bad, but I mean, it probably does.
Has been trending down, man.
It's the dirt race that's saving it.
The dirt race
Bristol Dirt and Bristol Oval are their own things. Like, the night race always gets good attendance, and the dirt race is dirt, so.
Can't wait to go. Darlington has 2 dates, too, which I don't think it should.
Yeah,
same with Atlanta. Getting rid of the other date.
Charlotte attendance has actually gone up, so. But
I think Michigan should get another race because of the fact that, like you said,
King Kong, your opinion is wrong.
Jackson, shut up. Let him talk.
Wow. What a rebuttal. Let him at least finish. Jeez.
Sorry.
You're fine. Because when I looked at the people there. It was just packed in the parking lot. It was packed in the on the track, on the outside of the racetrack. Like this, it was packed,
Yeah,
and that's what I want to see out of Michigan.
The infield sold out for the first time since 2012, which I thought was crazy.
But I think the reason it's so packed is, not everyone in Michigan is going to both races. A lot of times, a lot of people will just pick one or the other.
Brian.
And when you force everybody to go to one, then that's when I prefer to go back to June instead of doing it in August. The weather's a lot better. I like it better in June, but it's okay.
Jackson.
Okay, two things, Brian. One, the reason attendance is up is because of Netflix. Two,
It's not. No,
What?
the reason attendance is up in Michigan is because there's one date instead of two.
Wait! I want to.
People go to one or the
Wait!
other.
Everybody, calm down for
They
a
just go to
second.
the one.
Jackson, why does Netflix have an impact on NASCAR in-person attendance? I want to hear this.
okay,
You could say it.
At Michigan International
Formula
Speedway
One.
specifically. How is it Netflix?
Formula One Drive to Survive.
F1?
Not
F1? No!
Hear me out.
You can
No.
say that about
One.
USA.
No, there's
Just
no way
shut
that,
up.
that a Formula One show on Netflix from 5 years ago is driving up per attendance
Because
for a
when
NASCAR
Formula One
series
gets
event.
popular, NASCAR and IndyCar get popular. That is what's
No.
happening. The second point I want to make is they're doing it in June because the trends have shown that it tends to rain more in June.
It
The
rains
reason
in
why they
August.
put it
I
in
know.
June. The reason.
know.
No. The reason why they got rid.
Initially.
Here's the real reason why they got rid of the June date. And I actually heard about. Whitmer said they would not allow crowds in June, so they moved it. They gave it the August
that's
date.
why
to
it was
get
moved to
crowd.
August. Yeah, which okay.
That's the reason
Yeah.
why it's got the August date instead of the June date. Now, I personally would also like to have the June date back. It works better for my schedule, and I think the races are
I would love to see
usually
Whitmer
better in
attend an
June than they are in August.
That would be so freaking funny.
I don't know. I like the June race more, and I've been to a bit of both.
Yeah,
But
I've been to both
I
a
mean,
lot.
I don't know. I think one date is fine for this track, especially if they can continue to draw this big of a crowd. It was not a great crowd for 2 dates, but for this one date, you get one shot, you get everybody around you.
Not miss your chance
Coming
as
out.
well. You got one opportunity that comes one.
Yeah.
True, Michigan. Back there, Eminem.
Yeah, I think Michigan, should just be fine with one date going forward.
Proposal for Michigan. Since I like the gimmick of the Heritage Trophy Award, but I think what they should do is all the Fords and the Chevys and the Toyotas, they should run paint schemes reminiscent to old race cars. Like,
You mean like a throwback race that they already do?
kind of. but
Move
for
the
the
throwback
manufacturers,
race back
not
to
for the
Labor Day.
drivers.
Please put it back on Labor Day. Why was it
I
moved to
agree.
Mother's Day? Why?
That was
They
one of the
moved it. They
dumbest
moved it
ideas.
because when Darlington got 2 races, they wanted the focus of the playoff race to be on the playoffs, and so they
Then don't put it in the
they
playoffs.
just moved it back to the May one.
They should
Playoffs.
bring back the name of the second
Playoffs.
race, which is the Rebel 400. But then again,
Playoffs.
that's Confederate, so
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no,
that
Oh.
wouldn't
don't
work.
do that.
All right, so
Also, I
Oh, okay.
realized real quick that you cannot bring Confederate flags.
that
No,
was banned.
that
what
was
it?
banned in 2020.
Was it 2020? I thought it was last
I
year,
saw
2020.
someone with one anyway. I almost tried to do something, but I figured who am I gonna
Was
tell?
it outside of
you
the
know?
track or inside the track? 'Cause I think
Out-
outside
inside.
is still
Parking
fine.
lot.
Or was it inside? Oh,
Let's
Yeah.
in the parking lot.
okay. Then yeah, I
They
think
were-
I think
they were
they're still
outside
allowed in the
and
parking
inside.
lot. I don't think they're allowed in the infield or when you get.
They're
I don't know.
allowed
I think
in
it's
the
still
infield,
on the
Tyler.
property.
Have you been to a race in the infield? I have. They're loud. They're drunk. They smell like
How old
cigars.
is how long ago is this? The ban was 2 years ago.
When did you see a race in the When did you see a race in the Michigan infield, Jackson?
Not the Michigan infield. Indianapolis in 2012.
Well, that's
Indianapolis.
That was
yeah,
Indianapolis.
the ban was 2 years ago.
And yet the
This was
infield
10
is
years ago.
freaking insane. Okay? They
And how
have
does
this-
how does that even have to do with Confederate flags?
No, I'm talking about
doesn't.
the Rebel 400.
Oh,
Hold on. I need to figure of the hauler we saw. and then those right across from our seats.
Oh yeah.
Where the frick is it? Where is it? Where are all of my pictures? They're all gone. Oh, here it is.
Hey Tyler, when are we ending? I'm just curious.
Whenever we're done.
I need to pee.
We still got some stuff to talk about.
How long do you think it'll be?
Let's transition to Richmond. I think we talked most about everything from Michigan. But you see that holler, Tyler? The school bus.
Oh
Right
God!
up front.
Oh, was it in, hold on. Oh Jesus!
Yeah, that was.
Those
freaking
people need
scary.
Jesus.
Oh Jesus! Man, I should have
Jesus
taken some
H.
pictures
Christ.
of the haulers and stuff
Ryan,
that I
show
saw
it to
at
the camera.
in the infield.
What did you say, Jackson?
Show it to the camera.
I'm not. How do I show it to the camera? I'm using my phone to.
Screen share.
No, Jackson. No.
No. We'll be fine.
Okay.
We'll do it later. All right, so I think that's good for MIS. There's about 45 minutes worth of content there. Now let's move on to the race that happened today. So we're all caught up. Richmond. There should be a lot less to talk about. I didn't see the whole race. I only saw the last 80 laps.
Boring.
I did
So
hear it was
I
pretty
saw
boring.
everything but the last 80 laps. So that works well.
Richmond is another track that does not need 2 days.
It does not need 2 dates, and it needs to go back to the night racing. The day racing is so boring compared to the night racing. There's no track
If you
where
put it on a Saturday night.
No,
lights
nobody
on,
watches Saturday night races. That's
with
the problem.
fans
That's why there are only
fighting
4 of them. That's why all the races start at 4 in the afternoon.
it would work so much better if they put it at night, because especially when you get to September, NFL conflicts, they don't have to worry about that.
But we're not there yet. It's August. There's no NFL.
We're almost
to
there.
compete with.
Believe you got them.
Well,
Okay. Okay. Anyway.
Remember when NASCAR and Fox did that as their theme song for a little bit? Yeah, that was so weird.
I'm so...
okay.
So yeah, the
We're
race.
talking NASCAR here, folks.
So
Let's
we
get back
moved.
on topic.
So Ross Chastain must have been pissed that Rick Ware Racing took the wrecking everybody meme away from him. So he decided to wreck some people today at Richmond.
No, he just.
Wrecked Kyle Busch.
I don't know that he did. No, no. And then Bell. Did you see what happened? Like right after they got started, Bell's arm itched. That was so funny.
A Clint Boyer moment.
That is what happened.
Yeah, no, literally, Bell's arm itched.
Funny that it happened at the same track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I heard it was pretty
Hey, I
boring.
bet your arm's itching. Better scratch.
I don't know. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was fine. Nothing like outstanding.
I think
And
Richmond,
especially on short track standards, but it wasn't boring. You know,
I think they've set a
there
precedent
was
this
always
year
stuff going on.
with this new car. Is that like Pocono, Michigan, Atlanta? They've all gotten so much better, but the short tracks have really suffered. Especially both Richmond races, I think, have really suffered with the new car this year. We saw Martinsville's
the only one that's been terrible. Like Martinsville was a one group track. That was what really hurt. It was
We
just
still have yet
laps
to see
being
how
run.
the actual Bristol Oval works with the new car. I'm going to be in person to see that, so we'll see how that works out. But I think Richmond has really suffered. I also think Richmond's not that great of a track to begin with, especially in the daytime. I don't think it needs 2 dates. Especially its later date is the one that's usually more boring. I think its spring race is usually better than the fall one. And I think it needs to happen. I don't know why this track still has 2 dates, and tracks like Michigan or even really Bristol lost one of its concrete dates to this shit or whatever. I mean, come on.
I think this is the fairgrounds date to have.
That's a
Whenever
good
that
idea.
happens.
That's a good idea, Brian.
Yeah, whenever they get that stuff done, that's what's
Honestly, though, what
probably
they'll
gonna
probably
happen.
do is they're going to replace the super speedway with the fairgrounds.
Yeah,
whenever that
I don't know.
actually
That's what
happens.
I would do. Is
Replace Richmond with the Chicago
The
Street
fairground.
Course. There you go.
You know, honestly, that's one of the biggest difficulties I have with it is that I love Nashville Super Speedway. The racing there has been great, but the fairgrounds is the fairgrounds, and I don't know if there's
I'm
room
fine. I
for
mean,
both.
I think there's room for both. I mean, they're completely different tracks.
Yes, but they're
Nashville
like
can
they're
support
like 10
both
minutes
two
from each other.
races. It's fine. I mean, that's NASCAR country right
I mean,
there.
That is
Martinsville
like-
and Richmond
Are-
are basically 10 minutes from each other as well.
Tennessee
So.
going to show up to NASCAR races? Yeah, because they already show up to Bristol. They'll show up to Talladega even. That's not that far.
All right,
Uh,
you may be right.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that, like, and this is from some of my friends that are really into NASCAR, that they look at everything. They're thinking that maybe they'll rebuild Rockingham so that we can,
It's been under
Yeah.
some renovations. They've been working on
Yeah.
it, trying to get
and they're going to
racing
take
back.
probably, like you said, Richmond out and possibly put Rockingham in.
I
And then
think
we'll
the
have
best.
one race for
I think if they were gonna,
Richmond, and then
I think if they're gonna put Rockingham in, I think take Nashville Super Speedway out. I think that makes the most sense, because those tracks are the most similar. I think the fairgrounds could get axed for a Richmond 8, or Richmond could get axed for a
I mean, the other way around.
Yeah, fairgrounds.
Hey, what?
that or
What?
take
Yeah, imagine
another-
Fairgrounds gets like
Fairgrounds
a
ain't
bomb
done yet,
placed
bud.
on it, and Richmond gets 3 dates. That would be
That
funny.
would be
Yeah,
the
that'd be
Richmond
so-
You
Fairgrounds.
spoke it into existence, Tyler.
And one of them's an imaginary date because the fairgrounds isn't on this isn't on it yet.
Yeah. So here's the thing though. Alex Bowman won at this track last year, so there's definitely going to be a date gone. That's what happened with Dover. That's what happened with Chicagoland. You know, bound to happen.
It's cheap.
Well, he never won at Michigan, so
Oh, well,
No, Michigan. No, Whitmer canceled one of the Michigan dates, so that's what happened there.
Whitmer.
No, Whitmer did not cancel one of the Michigan
She
dates.
said they wouldn't be
Darlington
crowds at the
did.
June race, and so they took the June race
No,
away.
that was
I
the
think-
fact that Darlington got 2 races instead because
Which
I don't know.
I think what happened was that she found out that the people trying to kidnap her were at that race.
What?
Can we not here? This is
Jackson,
this
stop
is a
making-
NASCAR podcast.
Okay, let's talk about Richmond some more. I want to go on a little tangent about night races. I do think there needs to be more night races. Currently, there's only the Daytona night race, which is coming up in a couple weeks. There's Bristol night, the fall race. There
Bristol
is.
Dirts.
Well,
Martinsville.
no, Bristol Dirt's more of an afternoon race that goes into the evening.
Yeah.
Martinsville.
There's Martinsville night race.
Martinsville, and then there's also the 600. That's it.
Yeah,
I
Dude,
think.
that's fine.
I-
It's really all right.
I think.
I
Tracks
think
like-
Richmond should get one.
I think Darlington should get a night race. I think Atlanta needs a night
Yes.
race. I think
No,
Richmond needs to go. If they're gonna have 2 dates, they both need to be at night. I think I like Martinsville at night. I like Bristol, obviously iconic at night. So same with Daytona; those can't be changed. 600 again, obviously needs to be at night. Too iconic. And then, but any tracks are like in the South that they run in the summer. Atlanta, Darlington, not really in the summer, but whatever.
They could put North Wilkesboro.
They'd have to put lights at North Wilkesboro, but that would be pretty funny. Rockingham at night would also be pretty interesting, I bet, if they decided to put lights there.
That or put Michigan with lights.
Michigan's never going to get lights. That's
I know they're
Why
not,
not?
but I'm.
Yeah.
But you
I
can't.
I think
really
every track
want
should have lights.
they're the same
Not every
track.
track should have a night race.
personally,
Auto Club has
if I had any choice to pick any track that should get lights and run a night race,
Kansas.
it's going to be Talladega. That would be just so crazy.
Talladega night race.
I can already imagine it.
That's a Humpy Wheeler idea.
Gotta get Wonder Bread back in the sport for that.
Or
that is
Or
the
running
most
a road course at night
redneck
would be
thing.
interesting as well, like Watkins Glen or Sonoma. That would be
Carolina.
really crazy.
No, if they're
Nova
gonna do,
would be good.
I feel like no. Sonoma needs to be in like March. You see how pretty Sonoma is
Oh yeah, it's
at that time of
gorgeous.
year? Yeah,
It's
I think
gorgeous.
if they're gonna do a night race, they gotta do it like a Daytona road course type track. That seems a lot easier to light.
Daytona Road Course.
They kind of did that
night.
one at night already with
Charlotte Roval.
the
Yeah, 'cause
Clash.
they already
Charlotte
have Insta there.
Night race at Charlotte
Yeah.
Roval.
Oh my god, that'd be so bad. Another track can we
Oh, they crash.
actually one of these tracks could be moved to the All-Star race and we just axe Texas entirely because
Yeah.
Texas is bad.
That can't happen. I mean, it should, but
Everybody
it's not
gossips,
going
man.
to.
I don't know
Screw
why
Bristol.
they see so
Gone, though.
much
Eddie
hope
Watson
in that
is
track. I don't know why they
You're
see
in
so much hope in the
Bristol.
Texas market. It's nobody watches NASCAR in Texas for some reason. I don't know why. Or they just don't like paying $100,000 to go see a race at a huge track that's filled with nobody.
Why
Were
are
we
they
ever
not
going to talk
watching
about the race that
a
happened today or
Texas
no?
All-Star race? It's because of the fact that Texas sucks. The racing sucks.
It's artificial.
And
Well,
it's
I know,
nothing
it's just
like-
bad.
That's
It's
all of
not artificial,
NASCAR.
it's
Jackson, you want to
bad.
call it artificial? That's all the sport, honestly. The playoff format, the cars, the rule systems, all that
And that's
is.
one of the reasons I kind of prefer IndyCar. The racing isn't artificial.
Yeah, but the racing is so boring in IndyCar, and you also can't
No,
touch
it's
each other
not.
in IndyCar. You run
least
into
you can
another
say
car in
Formula
IndyCar,
One.
both of you are
Better than
out
NASCAR.
instantly. So
I know.
I just want to wake
Have
up
you
early
seen
for
Roman
Formula One.
Grosjean this year? He touches someone, and then they get mad at him, and then they want to fight a big French guy that almost died.
Tyler, how about you touch grass? How about that?
I did touch grass this weekend, Brian.
Oh, Tyler
Oh,
Pothead could.
I can't. I can't leave
soon,
the house.
soon enough. But anyway, let's talk about Richmond some more.
Yep.
Some bigger, like we had. Fuck, what was I going to talk about? We talked about Kevin Harvick. He won back to back. Again, pulled away at the end. I mean, it was pretty much Logano's race until he choked it, which I thought was absolutely hilarious.
And it was Denny Hamlin's too.
It was
I
it was
didn't see Hamlin's
really
part
the
in it.
cloud cover coming at the end there that really just changed
Well,
how a lot of cars
Don't
handle.
cry about it. Cloud cover.
I'm not mad. No, his car was bad in the long run all day.
Yeah.
I'm not like
yeah, I
upset.
can't
I'm not.
press
I'm not gonna woulda, coulda, shoulda. His car nailed the short run. Did not great on the long run.
What happened to Ty
And then
Gibbs?
got lost there.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Well, he bumped Kyle Busch, which I was impressed with.
see.
That
He
took
was
a lot of balls.
finished dead last. Eric Jones also didn't finish. What happened?
And
to him?
Eric- Man, Eric Jones has been the most confusing driver this year. He's going to be at one race. He is so fast. He's so competitive. He's in contention for the win. The next race, he's so bad. I think that's just petty.
He got caught up in something though, didn't he? He got caught up in the Chastain thing.
I know.
Ross
Yeah.
Chastain at it
Just
again.
wrong place, wrong time.
Ross
That's so
Chastain,
funny.
man.
Ross Chastain. Let's talk about Ross Chastain for a little
He-
bit. I mean, he is.
I-
How
I
many
used to
incidents
think he had
has
a
he gotten
big
in?
melon as in head, but now I feel like his melon has shrunk and shriveled. This year, I feel like maybe he's gotten into a few things where his melon has been bounced around a lot, and he's developed a lump on his melon, a mini melon on his melon, and I think he has a bigger concussion than Kurt Busch.
No.
I mean, he is wrecking everyone, and
Like
he's
I
a
say all the
championship
time.
contender. So don't be surprised, and you're probably gonna get mad if you're a fan of Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin, which there aren't many, so I don't know. If you're a fan of Martin Truex, which honestly there aren't many either because he's kind of boring, and if you're a fan of Christopher Bell, which there are a lot, admittedly, because he's kind of like Kyle Larson.
Except without
I
the
don't-
What do you
racist
mean?
part.
He is a Kyle Larson.
Yeah, he's same dirt history and all that
That's
jazz.
what I mean.
Yeah.
But he also
But he-
isn't racist.
He also
Shut up,
hasn't said the
Brian.
N-word on iRacing yet, so he's not Kyle Larson.
True.
He hasn't once.
But no, Ross Chastain's a championship contender, but honestly, he's gonna get it handed to him in the playoffs 3 times over at this point. It's
And I
gonna
think
happen.
all
You
of
think,
them will
you think
be
he's a
like
championship contender? I don't
He
think
is
he is.
he is such competitive cars.
He's second
He is
in the regular season points.
he has done
Wait, are we
so.
talking about the same thing?
He's
We're
second.
talking about different drivers.
Another guy that I guess we already mentioned him, but we could talk about maybe being a dark horse playoff pusher favorite is
Kevin
Kevin
Harvick.
Harvick. Won back to back, and he's been obviously on
Jeez.
fire.
I
He's
didn't
kinda-
see this coming.
Is he gonna pull a
But when
Tony
you think
Stewart,
about it,
2011
Richmond,
Tony Stewart here?
he may.
I don't know.
He might. The only problem
We
is
see it-
Harvick has choked the last time he's been a championship contender, the last several times. So everything after 2014, he's choked.
I don't think this is going to lead to much. Like, just 2 wins right before the playoffs is really nice. It's really great for him. But I don't think leads into a championship 4 run. Like
No, I
in
agree.
2018, like Brad Keselowski won the last 2 races before the playoffs, and then he won the first race of the playoffs. Like nobody remembers that Brad Keselowski won 3 in a row right at the end of August. You know, like he was not a factor for the championship that year. Sometimes you just get, you know, a lot of good wins right at that stretch at the end of the regular season, and usually it means nothing if you're a driver like Harvick. So, I mean, it's nice for him, but I don't think he's gonna parlay this into a championship 4 run.
I hope not. I don't like
I
Harvick.
got to go. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Gone.
All right.
Anyway, we'll talk about a few. I got a couple other things to talk about. First, we should touch on Kyle Busch's contract issues that's been going on. Because
What else is there to say at this point?
it's pretty
Like-
unlikely that he is going to return to JGR next year. He already lost his M&M sponsorship because they're bowing out. At JGR, they're not even in contract talks anymore. JGR, Joe Gibbs ain't even talking to Kyle Busch anymore. Kyle Busch saying he wants to keep racing until his son gets in the Cup, and they want to race trucks together before he retires. But now is he in talks with Hendrick? Is he in talks with going somewhere else?
I swear to God, if he goes to fucking Hendrick, I am not.
It'd be hilarious if he goes back. If Kyle Larson
Be a
goes
redemption arc, yeah.
if he goes back to the 5 at Hendrick, and that would be so funny. And like,
No, I do not like Kyle Busch. I also don't like Hendrick, but I would love to see that happen. That'd be so funny.
that would be hilarious. I would hate it, but it would be hilarious. I also don't know how much longer Kyle Busch has left in Cup. Honestly, for top tier rides, I mean, he hasn't really been that competitive. He hasn't won even his championships run in 2019. He only won the last race at Homestead. That was his only win of the year. 2020,
No, it
only
was
won
not.
one- Yeah, it was. That was the only win.
He was he was on a winless streak until then of like half the season, but that was not his only win. That's
Look it up.
correct.
Look it
You're
up. That was
thinking
his
of
only
year.
win of 2019. Was that win at Homestead?
No,
Look it
that's
up.
not true.
Look it up. Look it up.
I
Verify.
will.
Okay.
Busch not. That's not true.
2020.
I will look it up right
2020 was
now.
a very down year for him. 2021, it was all right. This year has been. He started off okay. He won the Bristol Dirt, albeit not convincingly, but a win's a win. But he has been in very big strike misfortunes. I don't think he's going to go very far in the playoffs. Honestly, would I care if he would we care if he retired? Like, personally, I wouldn't.
Everyone would cheer.
I think he's lost his marketability this year, I think. And as much as as if iconic he has been this year, or as iconic he's been, especially with JGR since 2008. He like Jackson went on a little rant tangent there, but he did make some points. Kyle Busch is a crybaby, who doesn't really walk the walk like Stewart, Dale Earnhardt, or any of these other big hotheads from the 90s, 2000s did. But does he provide some fire? Yeah, but I wouldn't be sad to see him go. I do think he's got some prime years left in him. Does he got a championship in him? I don't think so. But I guess we'll have to.
For the record, he had 5 wins in 2019.
5
They all
wins.
4 of them came early in the season, and then he went on a long winless streak and he won Homestead.
All right.
Then
Okay.
you know what happened in 2020. Long winless streak. He won at Texas at the very end there.
Well, didn't even
2021. He
matter.
only had 1 win last year,
Died
right?
before he had to go to Michigan.
Yeah. It's been rough for him, to say the least, in terms of wins. They're not coming in the density they have recently. But I mean, I still think he's got years left. Like
He's not even
he's
40,
still
so-
still a Cup driver capable of getting wins. And I hope that I genuinely hope this works out, and he's got some ride, even if it's in trucks.
Well, he
That
has
he
has-
likes, you know.
Unlike other drivers that we've seen retire lately or fall off, like even talk about Kevin Harvick until Michigan, what people were saying he was washed. Jimmy Johnson, that kind of thing. Kyle Busch at least has his team to fall back on, but it's not a Cup team
Yeah.
yet. Will he make the move? Will he make that move? Make it go to Cup? I highly doubt it.
No.
But if I don't, I mean, it's Kyle Busch. He could do. I don't know what he'll do, but as far as teams that would pick him up, again, I'd love to see Hendrick pick him up and put him in the 5 and move Larson to a different car. But that's very unlikely, seeing his track record.
And
With
where would Elliott, Byron, or Bowman go?
Well,
Mostly Byron and Bowman.
So Bowman's up at the end of next year, and as much as we talk about Kyle Busch having a rough streak, Bowman's been terrible this year.
Bowman has been
so
very
if next
awful.
year he's bad too. I could see Bowman getting
If
jettisoned.
it wasn't for Chase Briscoe, I'd say he's had the worst season out of all the playoff drivers. I'm gonna leave Kurt Busch out of it because he has a concussion. I can't really. Does not.
Yeah, you
really
can't talk
care to
about
put him in that game.
Briscoe's he's been all right, but yeah,
He hasn't really been that relevant since the Bristol Dirt Race, and that was forever ago. But no, I mean, other teams that could pick up Kyle Busch, 'cause he's obviously not getting a JGR extension. 23XI, I think that'd be funny if he got there. He'd go in there with his brother Kurt. If Kurt's still going there, obviously Kurt Busch's future's in the air with the concussion situation.
RCR would be funny. Kick Reddick out early.
I just couldn't see that happening. I feel like it's just weird not to see
Especially
him.
if there's an ownership stake, like if it's an RFK type situation. And then KBM's in there with Chevy now, and then I could see it. Who knows?
But no, I think I think for the future of the sport, I think he'll stick around simply because he wants to race with his son in trucks and get him going before he actually goes for a retirement. But if he can't perform good and he doesn't find a ride, it's like the Matt DiBenedetto situation. He's going to be stuck in trucks or Xfinity until he calls it quits. So that kind of it sucks if you're one of like the 3 Kyle Busch fans left. For the rest of us, we can't we'll bat an eye to it, and that's about it. So lastly for this podcast thing, because it's going to run a little long anyways, I think we do need to touch on, again, we did talk about the playoffs a little bit. There are only 2 races left in the regular season, only 1 spot for points. Jackson mentioned a bunch of drivers that he think could get in with that 1 spot.
I think Blaney's going to get it.
Because we got the Glen next week, and then Daytona that night after, or the next Saturday after that. For the Glen, I don't think there's gonna be a new winner for Watkins Glen. I think that won't be fine.
That might Truex is the only guy that I could think of.
I think
that realistically, I don't think so.
Out of the 2 guys, Truex could possibly get there.
But I think he's the only new winner that I would even that I have real confidence in at Watkins Glen.
And then you throw Daytona in the mix. Yeah,
Daytona,
Blaney doesn't have
so many great cars.
Blaney doesn't have a great track record with the road courses, so
yeah.
If Blaney's gonna get the win, it's probably gonna be in Daytona. It's probably gonna be in a last lap crash that he somehow avoids and goes on to win, because that seems like how he wins all of his restrictor plate races.
I mean, there's so many cars. Truex is not a super speedway guy. I don't think of Toyota especially. They're not a great super speedway camp. Except Hamlin, I guess. But you got Blaney. You got so many drivers even out there. You got Bubba Wallace. You have Eric Jones. Even Stenhouse. Even a Corey LaJoie could get in there. Almost every driver will cut line.
If he wins Daytona,
you could look at.
Flip the fuck out. I was really rooting for him in Atlanta.
But he could. It's
Daytona,
you never know.
Daytona's a toss-up. I think I'm just hoping for. Personally, what I'm hoping for, I'm not necessarily hoping for a new winner. I'm just hoping for a good race. I don't want it to just be a really boring race and then a big wreck at the last lap that takes everybody out or whatever, or just a bunch of wrecks right at the end. Because, that I like wrecks. I just like some good racing in there as well. But I personally think Bubba Wallace has a very underdog shot to win Daytona. I think Ryan Blaney's always a factor when it comes to these late season races. He won Daytona last year. Can he come and repeat this year? Different car, but, same sort of thing. And then, Recce Spinhouse, I don't think he might cause the big one, but I don't think he will be avoiding the big one. But really, I mean, yeah, it could be anybody. So,
you know who has won this race before, though, right? Justin Haley.
Justin fucking Haley. No. If Josh Bilicki wins that race,
he's in a Collie car.
If Josh Bilicki wins that race, will they finally make the Spartan car?
No, they'll make the race. I don't even know if they'll make the race one.
They will make that. I bet they will. Somebody will make a custom of it at least.
They didn't make a Pocono race to win.
But they'll make a custom of it at least. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad they didn't
you can get a custom.
They should have made a Chase Elliott race to win for Pocono. Somebody should have made a custom.
No, he said he didn't want one.
He doesn't.
He told them don't make one.
He said somebody can make a custom of it.
Yeah, yeah, they could, but
that would be.
He said he didn't want one.
And then send it to Denny Hamlin. That'd be funny as fuck.
Okay. Any more topics you got?
So I mean,
that was the last one.
So, I mean, I guess we could talk about the system a little bit. We can talk about the playoff format, the playoff system when we get to. So obviously, do an episode talking about the playoff field and stuff when that's revealed in a couple weeks. But I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. So I guess we can kind of save that for a different episode because this one has already kind of run long. But I mean, so let's make a prediction. Let's make a prediction. Like who do we think is going to take that 16th spot? Who?
It's Blaney's the safest bet. Either nobody gets a new win, or he's the one to get the win. You know, he's a strong candidate at Daytona anyway, and you know, there's also the chance that nothing happens. So I'm going to hedge the safe bet. Go with Blaney.
So I think it's going to be Martin Truex. Now I said Blaney earlier, but I think it's Truex because he did win a Daytona 500, if I'm correct.
Truex? No, he did not. He's never won. He's never won a super speedway race.
He's not one on a plate track.
Seconds off of winning the Daytona 500 until his teammate had to ruin it. But that's okay. But still, I think Truex is going to win it just for the main fact that he's.
If Truex is getting in, he's going to win Watkins Glen. He does have some good runs there, because he could have like a top 5 run, and Ryan Blaney could have like an engine failure or something that really evens it up. Because Blaney didn't gain a whole lot of ground on Truex today. He gained some, but not a whole lot. So a bad run by Blaney and a good one by Truex could at least even it or make it a single-digit deficit or a gain, depending on how it works out. And then Daytona is just a freaking toss-up at that point, where I think Blaney has the advantage over Truex at Daytona. But it's Daytona. You know,
yeah.
Anything can happen. I think there's going to be some phantom yellows that could cause some big ones and really shake up the field. There's going to probably be some flips. So it really... Personally, I'm going to go with Brian, though, personally, and say that Blaney's going to get the spot. I just can't see Truex pulling it out. I can't see Truex getting the win at Watkins Glen, but I can see Blaney getting the win at Daytona. And that's all he really needs to get that last spot. So, now what will be funny is if somebody like Eric Jones wins at the Glen, and then like Bubba Wallace wins at Daytona, and see how that shakes up the field and stuff like that. That'd be hilarious. But quite frankly, I don't even know. I think we're gonna get a new winner at the Glen though. So, but
I don't think so.
Who knows? We'll find out.
Who knows?
But I think that's a good place to wrap it up here for episode 3 of the Talking NASCAR podcast. Because now we're caught up. Yay! I'm not a week behind on races anymore. So we can stay relevant.
Yay.
From here on out, probably until the end of the season, most of the podcast episodes will probably just be talking about the previous week's race. I do have some fun ideas for the off season. But honestly, if we get a boring race, I could probably throw some of those smaller ideas in, but we'll just have to figure out. Let's just go. We kind of impulse it, here and there. So, but that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you for Brian coming on to this episode. You're welcome back anytime, Brian. Any episode you want to be in, even if you want to be a permanent member, we can talk. We can discuss that. But hopefully Jackson becomes more of a permanent member, but we'll see. Maybe we'll have to see. He kind of came in with a little fire tonight and then just left. But next week we'll talk about the Glen, whatever the hell happens there, and see what else happens over the next week. So that'll have to do it. Thank you to Hitmaster for also joining tonight. So he'll be back next week. Brian, you want to be back next week? We can arrange that, and
I'm not sure yet. We'll see.
See what happens. So we will catch you guys next Friday, and stay tuned for other amazing stuff. Go check out Hitmaster's channel and Jackson's channel for more content, cool content, and we will catch you guys later. Say goodbye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Adios.